and welcome to another episode of The Exercise Engineer. This week we're going to be talking about setting achievable goals, and you're going to want to listen to this one because you can apply this to so much more than just fitness. You can apply this to, yes, your body weight, you might have body weight goals, your composition, but you can also apply it to things like your business, your general life, health, family, money goals, training, you name it, we can cover it on this, and you can apply these tips to anything in your life. So make sure you share this with people that you love and you want to see succeed, because they're going to want to hear this as well. So I'm just going to start by saying you can't improve what you don't measure. So it's super important that if you've got a goal in mind that you are really pushing for, if you're not measuring it, how do you know that you're getting closer to it? So just an example, if you're not understanding what I'm saying, if you're working towards getting 10 grand a month or something along those lines, you're measuring that because you look at your salary, you look at your income, blah blah blah. If your goal is fat loss, you weigh yourself and work towards it like that. So that's what I mean by measure it. If you are just going for it and you're just a little bit wishy-washy, that's where you might not see results, and this is why. So we're going to get started with a quote from Serena Williams, because she's just such a babe. Everyone's dream can come true if you stick to it and work hard. So there's definitely an if there, but I think wanting the goal is one thing and believing it is a completely different thing. If you don't believe that you can actually do it, but you want it, you're not aligned at all. You've got to believe it and also want it enough to work hard towards it as well, because it does take hard work and it'll take a plan to accomplish it, and then that's how it all comes together. So you've got to want it, you've got to believe it, and you've got to work to it as well. You can't just, I'm all about this manifestation stuff, it's great, but you've got to action it. You can't just wish it upon the universe. I'm sorry, you heard it here. No, you can't just, no. You've got to work towards it. And having a dream is great, and I really back that, but you've got to work towards it. Actual action points. So this is how we're going to go through it. So you need to think about your time frame. So I want you to think of, this is going to be interactive, by the way, guys. I want you to get a pen and paper out. I want you to get notepad or whatever out, or maybe just your notes in your phone as you're walking along listening to this pod. Whatever you want, get something out and start writing stuff down. So I want you to think of an area of your life first. Think of something that you want to create a goal for. Maybe that's a new business, maybe that's body composition, how you look, how you feel, your health. Maybe it's something at work, maybe you want a promotion. You get my gist. So I want you to write down the ultimate goal for this. So we're talking about 5 years time, 5+ years, like your major all-time desires, lifetime goals, if you will. Write them down, and then what we're going to do is break them down. So maybe your ultimate goal is to be financially free and work wherever you want, whenever you want. What a fantastic goal that would be. That, just working where and whenever you want. I think that's where it's at, guys. That's where it's at. But that might be someone else's goal. That might not be your goal. So write yours down. Then what we're going to do is break it down into more medium-term goals. So goals that are more achievable within like 1 to 3 years. So I want you to write those down as well. Obviously, if you need to pause it to think, that's fine. I'll give you a couple of examples. So maybe you want to lose 3 stone of fat over 2 years and not regain it through consistent strength training and counting calories. That is a very good goal, and we're going to go through why that's such a good goal later, but I'll give you a clue because it's very specific. Like, it could be more specific by saying how many times a week, but we'll go through that a bit later. Anyway, so once you've written down those medium-term goals, which are goals 1 to 3 years, I want you to write down your short-term goals. You guessed it, short-term goals next. These are about 6 months. What do you think? What do you want to be able to achieve after 6 months? So maybe you want to run a half marathon in under 2 hours in 4 months' time. So you've got to set dates and deadlines, especially for these shorter ones, because time can whiz by, and we all know it. Don't we all know it? Crikey. What, I can't believe it's July already. Where? Don't. Just don't. It's mental. So, yeah, make sure you've got deadlines, especially on these short-term goals, because, yeah, as I said, time will whip by. So, once you've got those goals down, maybe so you want maybe 2 or 3 short-term goals, or maybe just 1 or 2 for now. Let's not overcomplicate it. But remember, you can come back and revisit this whenever you want. Whenever you want a new goal, whenever you want to create a new vision, if you will. And then what we do, we break down the short-term goals even more by creating daily goals. And I suppose you could say your weekly averages, but we're going to just stick with daily goals for now. So these are things, if you're working towards fat loss, these are things like your workout of the day, how many steps you're going to get, how many calories you're going to eat. You get me. In terms of calories, guys, if you want to know how many calories you should be having on estimate, there's a free calorie calculator in my bio. Go check it out, The Exercise Engineer. Anyway, but yeah, so it could be things like you want to benefit or develop your relationships with more people. Maybe you just want to be a kinder person, and that's absolutely fine to want to work towards, but you've got to think, what daily things can I do every day that's going to help me get towards that? So more emphasis on these daily goals. Literally ask yourself right now, what is one actionable thing that I can do today that will get me one step closer to that goal, to either that ultimate goal, or work it down. If you're working towards your 6-month goal, ask yourself, what is one thing every single day, one thing that you can do every day that is going to get you to that goal, and make it an actionable task, something you can physically tick off, something that you can do every day. It is achievable, but it is stretching you a little bit, something that you wouldn't do anyway, obviously. Otherwise, is that even a goal? That's just something you're going to do anyway. Top tips on this one is creating the habit of doing it every day is easier if you do attach it to something you already do. So for example, maybe you want to say mantras to yourself, or I don't know, read a book. Oh my god, I was going to say in my head I've just put together brushing your teeth with reading a book, and that's just, I mean, if anyone's ever tried that, please let me know. I might try it tonight and see if I can do it. That's just not going to go well, is it? There's not enough concentration. Let me know if that works though, guys. I would love to know. Please comment. Let me know what book it was. But anyway, so examples of these daily goals can be getting your 10,000 steps in every day, doing your workout, reading a chapter of a book, eating the rainbow. And what I mean by that is the more nutrients you have on your plate, the more nutrients, let me say that again. The more colour you have on your plate, i.e. the rainbow, the more nutrients you are putting in your body, because the different nutrients create the different colours. I'm going to go with that. I think that's right. I've definitely read that somewhere. That's in it's up in the Mind Palace somewhere. That I've not just made that up. But yeah, so I would create one absolute non-negotiable, and then maybe 2 or 3 that would be an absolute bonus if you can get those as well. So obviously it depends on your main goal. Maybe if your main goal is to build muscle as opposed to lose fat, but you would like to lose a little bit of fat in the process, then your main goal is building muscle. So therefore your non-negotiable should be that workout that is going to rip and tear the muscle in order for it to rebuild and get bigger. Whereas a flip side, and then your other little daily ones could be making sure you're eating enough, so you're in a little bit of a calorie surplus, and maybe you need to make sure you're eating enough protein, and also you're getting 8,000 steps in a day. Those you can have the little ones in the background, which would be amazing if you tick off as well, but you've got your one non-negotiable. Another example, but we'll do it for fat loss this time, would be hitting your calorie deficit every day. That would be a non-negotiable for fat loss, because scientifically, the law of thermodynamics, like that. Is it thermod? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I think I just got that wrong. Ignore me. Anyway, it's late, guys. Okay. So your main daily goal, your one actionable task, your one non-negotiable would be your calorie deficit, or maybe if you don't want to track calories, maybe it's getting your 10,000 steps in every day because you know what you usually eat, and upping your calories to 10,000, maybe 15,000 is going to put you into a deficit, and it works that way. So obviously, depending on your goals, depending on your lifestyle, what you want to do in terms of tracking calories. Again, business goals, relationship goals. There are so many goals we could be discussing right now, but I'm not gonna bore you. But the reason I'm telling you to write daily goals down is because those little wins every single day, and the consistency to which you add on those little wins every single day, will get you to that goal. Because it's the small things that will compound, and the goal will be there. It'll take a long time, but it'll take longer if you're inconsistent. So finding something that you can be consistent with, apply every single day, and action every single day, that's going to get you to your goal. And that's the really exciting bit, because you can see it happening. Like, yes, it might be something so small, but over time, over weeks, months, years, that's why we have these medium goals and long-term goals. You will get there. And that's the bit that's like, So a way that I like to do it, for those of you watching the video and not just listening to the pod, I will describe. But I have a goals board behind me. One side it's got, it's like a cork board. Cork? Is it cork? Yeah, like a pin board. And I've got all my different goals in. So they're like I've got some longer term goals, like a yearly goal, and then it's mainly quarter goals though, or half a year goals that I'm working towards with those. And then on the other half of the board, it's a whiteboard, so I can write down my daily actions, and so my one actionable task, my one non-negotiable, and then a few little ones underneath which are a bonus if I want to add those as well. So super duper idea if you can put, I mean, it's really ugly. Really, look at all the books in front of it. That's really bad, but it's quite ugly. But I'm sure you can make it look prettier than I have. And physically seeing it every day when you wake up, physically seeing it when you get in from work or whatever, whenever you're in your room or wherever you put it, will remind you of those goals. And it's those reminders every day that you're like, yes, okay, I need to work towards that. Okay, yeah, oh yeah, I said I was going to do that today. Let's do that. And then physically ticking it off as well. Just, it makes it so much better. Like, it's such a good way to stay motivated, because you can see it. You can see your actions. You can see the goal you're working towards, and physically seeing it and ticking it off will get you up on a morning. If that is your goal, to get up earlier to fit a workout in before work, laying in bed any longer is not going to help you tick that board. So setting goals and actively working towards them, and not just saying or thinking about them, that's when you're going to action stuff, and that's when you're going to start to see the really big returns. Obviously, after a little bit of consistency. So once you've ticked all your things off, I wipe it off every week and then set my new, like, sort of ish like a calendar, but like I work on it throughout the week. I have split it into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then weekend is usually combined, because I'm like, if I manage to do any of these over the weekend, that is a bonus. And then obviously the non-negotiables are always there. But yeah, if you complete it, which would be insane, and I would love to hear when, well, I want to see these vision boards first, because they're a great way to stay motivated, especially to stay accountable. If you send me pictures of them, post them, tag me in them. Obviously you don't want to post some of your goals to the whole world, but that's absolutely fine. Maybe you just want to share them with me. Maybe I can help you get to one of those goals. Maybe I can help you get to a few of those goals. If you want to build muscle, lose fat, get fitter, learn to run a marathon, I'm here for you. Hit me up. Coaching, I do one-to-one, I do in my membership. God, I had to think then. Why would I even think about that? My Train with Lou membership, that's where most of my clients go. That's where they love it. That's where they get my daily workouts, like my physical workouts. I film and post in there. So if you want those, guys, check out my Train with Lou membership, and I can help you achieve these goals. Maybe not if your goal is how to be a millionaire. I'm not quite there yet. In fact, I'm quite aware that might not even happen. See, I don't believe that, so that's probably never going to happen for me. But if you believe it, you're halfway there. You're closer than I am. So find someone else to help you get there, because I am not your gal. I give too much away for free. This is it's not money effective at all. But yeah, no, you can't say I don't give you stuff for free. This is good stuff. Right, so I sort of mentioned this earlier, but the law of attraction and the manifestation stuff, like how you can apply it so that it works. So if you have not heard of the law of attraction before, it's more to do with if you obsess your mind over something, it will happen. So a lot of people read that as, if I just think about it over and over again, it'll happen. It's not quite like that, but it does help if you are obsessed with this goal. If you become obsessed with it, everything you do, you will do based on that goal. Like, will doing this one thing help me get towards that goal? If you are obsessed with it, you'll be thinking about it all the time. And I think it sort of does apply when you think about positive thoughts bring positive experiences into someone's life. So have you ever been around someone who we could discuss this both ways, actually. So you've got these people that are just so positive and full of life all the time, and they always see the positive of a situation. They are genuine optimists. They want to see the best things. They're usually the people the best things happen to, because they are attracting that. That's what they want to see. That's what they do. That's what they expose themselves to. So if you're a positive person and you're always smiling at people and being really nice and giving loads of energy, chances are people will give that energy back to you. They will smile back at you. Whereas on the other side of that, if you're a negative person, or maybe you're not a negative person all the time, but maybe you got stuck in traffic on the way to work and now you're just in a foul mood, or a bus went past, maybe you missed your bus, or like a bus went past and splashed you with a big puddle, and now you're soaked and now the day's ruined. Like, if you're in a negative mindset, you might then be really negative towards other people, or not smiling as much towards other people. They're not going to smile back because you're not smiling at them first, really. So you're going to have a more negative experience of the world, and then people might think, oh, I might avoid her because she's not, she's in a bad mood. And that might put you in a worse mood, and then it just spirals out of control, because then you think people don't like you. But realistically, it's only because you got splashed on by a puddle. Like, it's the way that you see things, and the how you feel. Oh, how do I want to explain this? It's not what happens to you, it's how you feel about what happens to you. Like, that's the only bit you can control. So if something bad happens to you, yeah, you get splashed on, and it's the worst when you got wet trainers. That's just the worst. I understand that, but it's not the end of the world. It's really, really not the end of the world. And I think the sooner you understand that, and the sooner, I feel like I'm talking directly to you, but maybe I am. Maybe you are thinking, that is me sometimes. But yeah, that is sort of how the law of attraction works. Positive thoughts bring out positive experiences into a person's life. And also, if you obsess your mind over something so much, it will happen, because you're literally waiting for it to happen. You want it to happen. You believe it's going to happen. You will do anything it takes to make sure it happens. That's where the action comes in. So once you've gone through how to construct your goals, then we need to like write them down on a physical piece of paper and then stick it up when you can see it. So, and then you can literally fixate your mind over it. And I know that sounds really obsessive, and that might sound a bit crazy, but if you want it enough, you will go out of your way to make sure that it happens. I use this method quite a lot with my clients. Like, I created literally an accountability tracker for them, which literally has protein, steps, calories, workout, and they physically tick it off every day. And it is amazing how much motivation that brings, because they will send me screenshots of it being like, yes, got all 4 again today. And it's like the satisfaction of seeing all those ticks every day. And then on top of that, it's the consistency. So if you hit all 4 ticks for 3 or 4 days, you don't want to mess up that 5th day or that 6th day or that 7th day. Like, it will spiral not out of control, obviously, but that is where the consistency comes in. That is where the dedication comes in. And once you've formed that habit, once you've formed that feeling, it's like, yeah, I can do this every day now. This is mint. Like, I have got 10,000 steps in every single day since July 2020. Like, just let that process. Not even one day has slipped, because that rally is so good now, I can't break that. Like, I have been in excruciating pain, hungover, and I have still got my 10,000 steps in, which makes me sound a little bit mental. It really does. But I can't break it. There's no way. I'm going for a Guinness World Book of Records or something here. Maybe there is one. Am I a Guinness World Record? Has someone got more than 10,000 steps in every single day for more than 3 years? Yeah, probably. That's quite sad. Anyway, you know what I meant. But yeah, the worst part of that, and probably what I will experience one day when I can't get 10,000 steps in, is the day that you can't tick everything off, or the day that I can't say I've done 10,000 steps, or the day that you're missing a tick, or maybe you missed all your ticks one day, and it's just the worst. Honestly, it's one. If you've got all of your consistency going and you miss a few, it's like, oh damn it. And you can't kick yourself about it, because imperfect action is the way to get there. But if you're aiming for perfect and you hit somewhere close to it, that is good enough. Like, we strive. If you aim for perfection, and if you drop slightly below it, you still achieve a hell of a lot more than you would have done if you were just aiming for mediocre, aiming for average. So always aim high. I think a lot of people would disagree with that though, because then if you always aim too high, you'll always be disappointed. But the way I like to see that is, you won't be disappointed if you realise you've still done more than what you would have achieved if you hadn't have aimed higher, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. So you will be getting up the next time your alarm goes off if you manage to not tick off all your ticks one day. That next day, I guarantee you'll be getting up early to make sure you get that tick that day. So, how do we actually construct a goal? Like, yes, we discussed what sort of time frame we should have and what we do with them, but how do we actually construct a good goal? Like, what is classed as a good goal? So, if you remember learning this from school, I'll be impressed. But it's really stuck with me. So remember SMART goals. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant or reliable, some people say, and time. So specific is the first one. What exactly do you want to achieve? Exactly. Like, how do you want to feel? Who do you want to be? Like, who, where, which, why, what? All of those should be covered within the goal. Make it as specific as you can. If you can still ask one of those questions, one of the W questions, you're not specific enough. The next one is measurable. So exactly how I said at the start, how do you know you're going to have achieved your goal? Like, how are you going to monitor it? How do you know you're heading in the right direction? Because yes, sometimes we might have dips or we might have plateaus, but are we gradually heading in the right direction? Are we on the right trajectory? that's sort of where we're going with the measurable. How do you know that you're on the right path? Next one is achievable, which is sort of what this whole thing is about. Like, realistically, how achievable is this goal? If it's right up there, you might be thinking, not achievable, but how are you going to do it? Like, how are you actually going to accomplish this goal? Like, is it achievable? How realistic is that goal? If chances are it's realistic, it's just your mindset that might be holding you back. It might be your mindset telling you, actually, no, I don't believe we can, no, there's no way we can do that. It might be achievable though. So actually breaking down how you're going to achieve that goal will make it more obvious if it is realistic or not. For example, let me just try and think of one. So how are you going to, like I said at the start, through strength training and calorie tracking. But maybe you want to be more specific in that area and be like, by strength training 4 to 5 times a week and tracking my calories daily. Like, that would be an achievable goal in the week that you can do that will get you to your bigger goal, if that makes sense. Something maybe to do with savings, if you're trying to save a certain amount of money. An achievable, like, how are you going to accomplish that goal is every time you get paid, you put 10% away where you can't access. Something simple like that. Like, you might, I'm not going to be able to do the maths off the top of my head, but if you were trying to save £10,000 to go, I was going to say buy a house, but there's no way that would even come close to just the fees, never mind. Maybe you want to go travelling. I don't know, is that a year, is that 6 months? Maybe that's a month for some people, maybe that's just 1-2 week holiday. Who knows? But how are you going to achieve that goal? So your goal might be, I want to go travelling, but let's break it down. So I'll need to save £10,000 before I go. So how realistic is that goal? Well, I'm going to put away this X amount of money every month because this is my salary, and that is going to get me there in 8 months' time. Something like that. Like, you really break it down and think, is it actually achievable? Because you can't just say, I'm going to save 10 grand in 3 months and believe that you can do it. And you've got to sort of work out how you're going to do it. And that's the achievable bit. Not just, is it achievable, yes or no? How are you going to ensure that you achieve that? So the next one is relevant. So is it the right time? Because sometimes we can have these goals and they are fantastic. You've got them down. You want to write them on a piece of paper. You've got it all there. You believe you can do it. You're specific. You've measured stuff. You know exactly how you're going to get there. But sometimes it's just not the right time at all. Like, in your personal life, is this going to be achievable for you with the resources that you currently have? So maybe you want to save £10,000, but your salary, but you've only got 3 months to do it. Is this the right time for you to try and save that amount of money if your salary isn't going to allow for that sort of savings? Probably not. So it's great having those goals, or maybe a fat loss goal. You've got a wedding coming up and you want to lose 2 stone or something like that, but maybe something in your life, your personal life, has got in the way. Maybe someone has just died, maybe a really bad illness, maybe you've got to take time off work. There's so many other things that can come into it, like circumstances that we don't account for, like unforeseeable things might mean that it's not the right time to make those goals. So making sure that this is the right time for you to personally be able to achieve this goal will make it much less painful, because if you go through all of that effort trying to achieve it and it's just not the right time, it'll make it so much harder. Like, not impossible, obviously, but it'll make it so much harder when you could just be at maintenance for a little while longer while it all passes over. Something like that. That's not me trying to be negative at all. It's just, with the resources that you currently have, is it the right time for you? And the final one is time. So as I said earlier, always give yourself a deadline. Work towards something, because I'll tell you for free, nothing focuses my mind like the last minute. Nothing. Nothing at all. And I don't know if you'll agree with me on that one, but God, the last minute is great for focus time. But obviously that's probably not where our quality work comes out. It is where our quickest work comes out though. But what can you do today that is going to get you there? So it's just asking yourself those same questions. One thing that's going to get you there. So giving yourself a deadline, break it down. So again, maybe the £10,000 one. You're saving to go on holiday. You're going in 3 months. Break it down. How much time? So you've got a deadline because you've booked your flight. There's your deadline, or a wedding day, or maybe you just make that day up, or maybe you've got a competition coming up, or a really exciting football match, or a presentation at work that you're building towards. Maybe it's a speech. Like I've got IFS coming up in September. I'm absolutely bricking it, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I need to just make a plan, work out. I've got 2 months to work towards it, and I'm going to break it down. So I need to, oh my God, that's only 8 weeks. Oh gosh, I'm sweating now. Okay. I need to do this for my speech and make sure I know what I'm saying. So break it down into the weeks. So how much a week do you have to do to make sure you get to that goal? So if you're saving £10,000 over 3 months, blah, 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 how much a week is that? God, that would have been impressive if I just whapped out a number, but no, I'm not working that out now. Work it out yourself. So to achieve high quality 7 hours sleep every night, how are you going to do that? No phone after 9 p.m, read a book read a whole book per month, or 10 pages per night. That's the achievable bit, and that's the specific bit, because you want to achieve higher quality 7 hours of sleep every night. How are you going to do it? No phone after 9 p.m, read 1 book per month, very specific. That sort of thing. Be specific, measure it, achieve it. So the measurable bit in that one would be your 7 hours a night. That's how you're going to measure it. Did you actually sleep for 7 hours a night? Obviously, if you don't, these are only, Fitbits and smartwatches can only measure it to a certain accuracy, but it's closer than just guessing. Or at least know the time between, I don't know, the time that you close your eyes and the time that you wake up, or something like that. As long as you know how you're measuring it and how you're improving it, that's all that matters. So let's just go through a few examples. So I'm just going to read through some that I wrote down earlier, and I want you to decide in your own head whether they are achievable or not, or no, whether they are a SMART goal, not necessarily achievable or not. So, first example, in 6 months' time, I want to be 2 stone lighter by resistance training 4 times per week and running twice per week. Is that a SMART goal, yes or no? So, what do you think? I think yes, because it's very specific. You want to be 2 stone lighter. It's got a deadline in 6 months' time. How are you going to do it? By resistance training 4 times a week and running twice a week. It's very, very specific. We could ask why they want to lose 2 stone or why they want to lose 2 stone. That would make it even more specific, and that would attach an emotion to it for them. So how they want to feel after losing 2 stone. That would make it even better, but even without that, that is still a SMART goal. You're still going to work towards that. Next example. In 10 years, I want to live in my dream house by the sea. Is that a SMART goal? Yes or no? Am I allowed to do that, by the way? Maybe is that copyright? Maybe I'll just make my own. I can't do Anyway, no, that is not a smart goal at all. How much is the dream house? How are you going to earn that sort of money? Where is the house? Do you need to move jobs? Are you going to buy it with someone? 10 years is very difficult to aim for. That's why I try and not do 10-year goals, because a crap load can happen between now and 10 years' time. Like, I think I've been 3 different people. Personally, in myself, I've developed that much. Not in a twatty way, sorry for my language, but I've definitely like developed myself so much, even in 5 years, never mind 10. So I think 10 years is quite far to aim for. So when we think ultimate goals, just aim for more like 5. And why do you want to live there? Why do you want to live by the sea? Your dream house by the sea. What is this dream house? Does it have a name? Is it a physical house that you've already seen? Or is it just a made up one that you're going to make? That sort of thing. Okay, we'll do a couple more. By the end of the 13 weeks, I want to have lost a stone of fat by completing 5 workouts per week, eating 120 grams of protein a day, and hitting my 10,000 steps daily. I want to fit comfortably into my size 10 jeans again and have more energy to play with my niece. Yes. How specific and measurable is that? You could argue that how are you measuring more energy? I think I think you just know in that sense. But that's a very, very good, specific, measurable, realistic goal. I want to eat healthier every day by eating more fruit and veg. No, that is not specific enough. How much fruit and veg per day? How much per meal? Why do you want to be healthier? These sorts of questions, ask yourself, because I hear people say that all the time. Oh yeah, I want to be healthier. Oh yeah, I need to eat more fruit and veg. Oh yeah, I want to start going to the gym. Oh yeah, I'm going to start going to the gym. Yeah. Do they? They might go once. Be specific. Measure it. How many times can I say these words over and over again and people still listen? Who knows? Okay, last one. To save £25 a week on food, I will meal prep my breakfasts and lunches for the week and make sure I cook evening meals at home 5 to 6 times a week. Yes, that is very specific. That is how much you're going to save, because maybe that's just an estimate, for example, but that is how you're going to achieve it. And yeah, that's a very good specific goal. I would say yes to that. So I'm going to set you some homework now, guys. I know, I'm so good to you. I'm so good. And I want to hear back. Please, I want to hear back from these, because I think giving you actionable tasks to do will make you do them. There's so many people that listen to podcasts out there that don't implement things. And they listen to it and think, oh yeah, I should do that. And then they forget because they move on to a different podcast, or they don't bother because no one's checking up on them. I want to check up on you. I don't know, I've not worked out how I'm going to do that yet, but I will. I will work it out. So your homework is, I want you to physically write down 2 SMART goals. I want you to make sure they are SMART by, maybe you want to listen back through this, maybe you want my slides, maybe you want some more top tips, maybe you want this full training module, in which case check out the Train with Lou membership. That is all in there, guys. I think this is also posted on YouTube already with some slides, but I might have just made that up. So I want you to physically write down 2 SMART goals, and then I want you to split those into your daily goals. So what are your actionable tasks from those 2 SMART goals that you can work towards every single day to make sure you're going to achieve those SMART goals? So those are like the how bits, like how are you going to get to that SMART goal every day? So these are the daily goals. Add them to the page. Stick that piece of paper up, or wherever. Maybe you've written it on your phone, you want to have it maybe you want it as your screensaver. That would be such a good idea. Where you see it literally every day, I want you to post that picture. Send me that picture, please. Maybe you don't want to share it again to the whole world. That's understandable. That is your personal goals. But if you feel comfortable, sending them to me. I would love to see them. I would love to see you actioning all this crap that I'm spouting at you, because it works and it really, really does. Like, you don't have to show us if you don't want, but just letting me know that you've done it would be amazing. Or maybe you send me the piece of paper, but like, blur out the bits you don't want me to see. I would love to see it, seriously, guys. And actually complete your actionable tasks every single day, and you will get closer to that goal. Just work towards it every single day. Every single day, and you'll get there. The consistency is the key, if you didn't get that already. It's the compounding effect of doing it that will get you there. And then if you are part of my Tremolo membership, I want you to check in with the group. Make sure you are showing us that you are doing those actionable tasks. Super duper important that you keep yourself accountable, whether that's with a chart, whether that's with the group, whether that's with me. Maybe you get a different coach, that's absolutely fine. Maybe you and your buddy, maybe you get a family member, someone you live with, someone that is actually going to make sure you do those goals. Someone who's actually going to keep you accountable, someone that cares that you achieve those goals. Because there's one thing saying to a mate, oh yeah, we should do this together, and then they're a bit like, oh really, okay, oh go on then, I'll keep you accountable. The minute you say, oh no, I can't bother, they'll be like, oh, all right, good, yeah. No, you need someone that's going to bite back and be like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're not doing that today? Why not? Oh, and like, someone that is going to help you through it. It's like, well, why don't you just do the first 20 minutes, and then actually you realise you're 20 minutes into the workout, you're like, oh well, I might as well finish it now, I've started it. There you go. It's a great way to get going. Just tell yourself, right, the least I can do is 20 minutes. Just give 20 minutes a go. If you're still not feeling it after 20 minutes, stop the workout. Maybe you're not feeling it that day. Maybe your body does need a rest. But start the first 20, and if you're ready to carry on, carry on. I always find that a great tip, just to keep going as well. So I'm going to leave you with a little quote. A guy called Jeffrey said this one. So it's quite deep. Obstacles can't stop you. Problems can't stop you. Most of all, other people can't stop you. Only you can stop you. So if you're coming up with excuses, that's you stopping you. That is you getting in the way of you. Other people can't get in the way of you. There's ways around stuff. Like, if you come across a problem along your path to achieve your goal, it's a problem. There's always a solution to that problem. Find the solution, work around it, work harder, and you'll still get to that goal. Only you can stop you from achieving that goal, and that's when you give up. Don't give up. Just keep going, and it will pay off. I promise. It really, really will. I feel like that's quite deep. That's quite a deep ending to this pod, but I think that's what we needed. I think that's the push I needed as well. Well done, me. Okay, guys, I am going to love you and leave you there. If you really enjoyed this pod and you thought, wow, I'm going to action all of these things now, if you see results from this pod, that will be even better. Let me know, please. Forward it to people who would find this beneficial. Like, subscribe, big thumbs up if you're on YouTube. I don't know what this is anymore. It's probably going to get posted everywhere, so whichever platform you are on, do the appropriate thing. If not, if you want to leave a review, that would be amazing as well. Let me know how you found your actionable tasks, how your goals are going. If you're going to review it for like less than 4, maybe don't bother and just message me on the side. I'm all about the feedback. Let me know the feedback. If I'm rambling on way too much, let me know. But just don't post it, you know? I am joking. I'm all for the feedback. Bring it on. Okay, guys. I will love you and leave you there. Thank you so much for listening. Mwah! See you next time.